What's good, family? It's your girl Yaya the Spiritual Doula, and this is another episode of The Initiates, talks with the self-initiated for the self-initiated, but all are welcome, whether you're self-initiated or not. In this video, we are going to again dive into the greater and the lesser keys of Solomon. Spirit team had to come in and round your girl up because I was about to throw it away. But look, got some good download from it, and I want you to hear what Spirit has to say. Tap in. What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your girl Yaya the Spiritual Doula. How is everybody doing? I hope y'all are well. I'm doing great. I'm gonna turn that off because I don't want no copyright infringement situation going on. I hope y'all doing great. This is Initiates. You know what I'm saying? Let me get my book, because we got to chop it up real quick. So I hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing great. Hope you're feeling great. Your family as well. I said light and love to everybody. It's a lot going on in the world, but we gonna stride through it. You know what I mean? We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. So what's today? Tuesday? Yeah. Today I be losing days of the week because I just at this point live my life. Unless I have an appointment or something or a deadline on something, a day is a day, okay? And I'm grateful for every day. But today is Tuesday. So, let me see. I've been reading this book. Now, I don't know if you who are watching this video now. First off, let me say, if you are watching me for the first time, please take a moment and join the tribe, all right? Come on over here. What you waiting on? Okay? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and everything. And hit that like button. You know, the like button does wonders for the channel. And I appreciate all of you who have been supporting so far. So if you are a returning subscriber, returning listener, this is not your first time tapping in. Thank you. Gratitude to everybody who has been supporting and contributing as we build this safe space for us to talk, learn, grow, motivate, be motivated and everything. And so, yeah. I'm really excited about what we have going on. I'm excited about what Spirit is doing with me, inside of me. I'm excited about what she is giving me to share with the collective, okay? Not everybody is going to, vibe well with me, okay? And that's perfectly okay, right? That's perfectly okay. But so far, so good. Everything's going wonderfully beautiful. And so please hit the like button. Please watch the video in its totality. I'm gonna try to keep it a little shorter this time. The last video I did, if you haven't checked that out, when we were talking about the this book here, The Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon. And it was a 2-hour video. And the only reason why I was going to chop it up, but the only reason why I left it like that is because I hadn't done an Initiates in a while. And I really didn't feel like going through chopping up a 2-hour video. So I was just like, look, whoever watch it, going to watch it. Whoever have the patience to sit through it and watch it, will watch it. And that's just the way that's going to be. But I'm going to try to keep these conversations a little shorter. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I be studying and learning so much. And I want to, just chop it up about what's on my spiritual mind. Okay, going on in my life, because I do a lot of content that doesn't kind of allow me the opportunity to, it's more intimate, you know what I'm saying? This is more intimate, and I really enjoy the Initiates where, I'm a self-initiate. And so if you don't know what that means when I started my spiritual awakening, I did not join any sort of systems, and here I am, so to anyone who is, I have heard a lot of conversation over the internet from other spiritualists, other people who have participated in certain Afrocentric, systems and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. What I will say is that just make sure that your spirit team, because see, whether you're working with certain deities and things like that, you have a spirit guide. Everybody has that. And you have the spirit. Everybody has that, whether you're a part of a system, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So my first advice would be to just make sure that is what the spirit is leading you to do, that is actually necessary for your journey. Don't just join an Afrocentric system, whether it be voodoo, whether it be, Santeria or anything like that, Palo or anything like that, just because, right? Don't even go off of the fact that you readily identify with it because it's African centered, because that could be to your detriment too. Because everybody has an individual journey, and when you are spiritually on your journey, it is very important and imperative that you allow spirit to guide you. You understand what I'm saying? And so when I first started my awakening, I quite naturally, especially coming out of Christianity, I quite naturally wanted to explore, and I was thinking like maybe I should just, find a tribe of, Afrocentric, one of the systems, voodoo, something like that. And immediately spirit was like, no ma'am. No ma'am. And I was like, well, what's the problem? And so it's no problem. It's just that's not what we are trying to bring you to, because you have a particular purpose, and for you to fulfill it, it requires for you to go down this journey completely guided by spirit, with no middleman, with no middle woman, with no nothing. That was a part of my process that was necessary for my process. And so I wasn't allowed to join one. You know what I mean? I do study them, and I do work with and have worked with the Orishas as they have invited me in. I didn't bogart my way and just start taking on different energies and I'm gonna just do this, I'm gonna just work with Oshun, and I'm gonna just no, I didn't do any of that. My whole process was spirit led. Okay, so also don't let anybody tell you that if you decide to go on it on your own and you are a self initiate, that you can't work with the Orishas. A bunch of hogwash. There is many ways for these energies that belong to the melanated frequency. There's many ways for them to initiate you. Okay, I get it. The systems are the systems. And so they're going to have their dogma. They all have their dogma. All right. That just comes along with the system. Having a system most of the times is going to create dogma. Where people feel like it has to be done this way, and if it hasn't been done that way, then it's like not the right way or whatever. Like you haven't really been initiated into to be working with oil, to be working with. That's not true. Okay, that's not true. For one, particularly if you're listening to me and you're melanated, these orishas or deities belong to your bloodline, and ain't nobody that can define how you gain access to them. As long as you are authentically, heartfeltly, respectfully, and ethically, they will honor you and they will respond. So this particular, for those who don't know what it means to be a self-initiate, is really kind of for those, but anybody can listen. Anybody's welcome, whether you're of a system or not. I'm not here to split hairs with that, but I'm just saying a lot of the things that you're going to hear me talk about is from the perspective of someone who only has spirit to answer my questions, to like show me, guide me. I only receive from spirit and from my spirit team, and some of the Orishas are on my spirit team. Well, they all kind of are at this point. I don't work with them all, but depending on what is going on in my life depends on who steps forward. You understand what I'm saying? So, but I have access to them all, but I work with the ones that step forward towards me while holding respect and honor for all of them, right? And so then with all of that, you have the angels and things like that, and then you have your spirit guide. And so as you kind of go through the process, you start learning who is for what, who is in what frequency, and what resides in what dimension. And so you start getting familiar, and you build your own little spiritual family and everything like that, and you got going on. So some of the Orishas and stuff are on my spirit team, but today I really want to talk about this Keys of Solomon chat. I ain't gonna hold you. I want to talk about this Keys of Solomon. I want to talk about it because look, listen. So if you didn't watch that, I know it's a long 2-hour video. Get you something to drink, get you something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Put your feet in a foot bath and watch it. Just watch it, because I'm at the point now in my awakening, or my being, or in being awakened. Because there's the awakening, and then there's the being awakened, and then learning what that means. You understand what I'm saying? So in the phase of now being awakened, excuse me, I'm learning some new shit. I'm learning some new shit. Now, in the first video, I talked about the first page of this book. And I said I was going to put the link down, and I haven't done it yet. I hope I'm going to try to get it. It should be up. If you're watching this, it should be up. If I can find it, and I'm pretty sure I can, because I have found it before. I'm going to find the PDF version of this, and then I'll link it. Okay. But if not, if you don't have this in your library and you are a true initiate, you might want to get this book in your library. And depending on where you are, will depend on whether you should actually start studying it or not. Because I've had it for a while, like I said in the first video, and would pick it up and then put it down, because it's like, no, I don't feel like I'm ready for that yet. So a lot of people will shy away from this, spiritually moral folks, or religious moral folks, or people who scared of the darkness, I guess. And come to find out, this book is not totally about darkness. As a matter of fact, this book cannot really be fully understood. It cannot fully be understood if you have not made it to the light. There is a difference in this book, and I'm learning, because I thought this was black magic. What I say by black magic, I thought this was the precursor to a lot of that evil stuff that people be doing. Now, this is the thing. It specifically says that, yes, this can be used for diabolical magic, but it's not supposed to. Matter of fact, I read it last night, and I was like, see, that's exactly what I be talking about. That's exactly what I be talking about. Let me see where I was last night, because I've kind of gone through the seals, each spirit having, my nose itching. Each spirit having their own seals. I kind of grazed through that, and so on and so forth. Cause see, I ain't finna be like, I don't know. This book talks about how, you make the sigils and you make the seals and stuff like that, and they got it. For some of them, you got to use copper, and you got to carve it out in copper, and you got to forge it in iron for certain ones, and then you got to forge the other ones in silver. And I'm like, some of it is outdated, and unless you're a blacksmith, which I'm not in the physical, okay, I'm not finna be forging and with blow torches and stuff. Just, that's not my element. Okay. So until I know whether I've seen other people use just regular print offs of the sigil. I've seen it, and I don't know whether that's whether it works. They saying it does. It's fine to just print them off, and when you're doing your magic to Mars, or you're calling on Michael or whoever, you just use the print off on a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? And so if that works, it works. I don't know, and I do not know at this point if I'm ever going to try it. But what I will say is, this book specifically warns against using what is in it for diabolical purposes. So the fear people have, because he is naming spirits and he is naming their powers, he is showing you how to submit them to you and things like that. A lot of people would shy away from it a little bit because they feel like, oh, it's magic. So you know how folks feel about that to begin with. And then, him naming all these spirits and stuff like that rattles people too. So as you continue reading in the book, he specifically told his son, now we're talking about Solomon, okay, not to use this information for diabolical purposes. And he warned him, against doing so. And I'm probably not going to be able to find it because I don't think I highlighted it. That's all that. Trying to go on all that. Let me see. He warned him a couple of times. It's got to be over here because that's let me see. But anyway, he warned him a couple of times not to use this magic in this book, or the key is what he called it. I keep wanting to sneeze. He warned him that whoever did so, who used it for diabolical purposes, basically they would fall into the hands of God's judgment, and that the magic would reverse itself. Excuse me. The magic will reverse itself on the person who used it for diabolical purposes. And I fully believe that those who have been using this for diabolical purposes, I'm sure, have had to learn the hard way. And this is why I said it is very important for you to understand respect and honor and ethics when you're dealing with spirits, right? Because everybody has to answer to the Most High. Everybody, not just us as humans, everybody has to answer to the Most High when given an assignment, or when given a certain responsibility, or when given a task to do something outside of that breaks the honor of that task, or breaks or abuses the power that you've been given, whether you're a human, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're in the government, whether you a teacher at a school, or whether you are the CEO of your own company, or whether you manage a bank, or you manage at Publix. It doesn't matter. When you've been given power, to abuse that power, can put you in the hot seat. It can put you under judgment. We've seen judges go under judgment because everybody has somebody they got to answer to. Everybody. So as it is in the spirit kingdom. And so we have to make sure, and this is why I was saying in the other video, like, I always kind of make sure, like, I move a certain way with respect, right? And so I was talking about how because I didn't really understand what he was teaching, or what was going to be in the later part of the book, because that was the first page, and I was talking about control, and I don't work with under control and things like that, because this is giving me the energy of trying to control them, subduing the spirit to do what it is you want it to do, and things like that. But as I've continued reading in the book, I realized that yes, it is having control of them, but my spirit guide last night had to kind of help me understand. Okay, she had to help me understand, because I was reading, and I don't know why all of a sudden I was sneeze, so, but I was reading, and I started to feel a little weight, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you, because I'm so my mother's daughter. I'm so my mother's daughter. I'm so my mother's daughter that when I read things, if they start talking a certain way and I start picking up a patriarchal energy on that thing, it automatically says, okay, pause. To me, it tells me to pause. Because where's the mother? You're talking about God, all things being created by him. It's talking about God, all things being under his power, all things being made for his good pleasure and his will and his. And so I'm so conditioned, right, from the awakening phase. I'm conditioned to question all of the male genderization of these aspects of God. And so I immediately go into like, hold on, hold up now, because like, if you really truly spiritually awakened, and if there's some real truth to this lesser keys of Solomon and to the character of Solomon, I don't know whether he was a person or not. I ain't never met him. And I don't state claim that nobody is real in these good books and stuff that we be reading. I don't state no claims that these people really existed. I don't know. I was not there. And if I was there, I have yet to remember that. Okay? So, as far as I'm concerned, he's allegorical, just like Jesus, just like Zeus, just like everybody else. All right, that's how I feel about it, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, because I wasn't there. I ain't meet the man. I ain't shook his hand. I don't know him. I don't know him. Okay. However, like I always say, in the myths is the truth. If you can decode them, if you can defrag them, right? Because like, the Bible and all of these other books are fragments. And I feel like, in my opinion, the spiritual individual, or the individual who is truly trying to uncover the truth about their spiritual existence, or spiritual existence as a whole, has to do a good job of pulling all of the fragments back together. And I remember one time Bobby Hemmett, who I consider to be a great teacher, he was the first one Spirit led me to, along with some other ones. But he was the one that I really, it took me a little while though, because Bobby Hemmett is Bobby Hemmett, okay? And so it took me a little while to get acclimated to his teaching style, because it be a little scattery and you got to pay attention. But after you watch enough of him, you start being able to really catch hold to what he's saying. But I remember he used to always say, you have to remember that these books are fragments. The Bible is a fragment. It's a fragment. Not only is it myth, but it's a fragment of things. So you have to put it back together. You have to pull a little bit from here. This is why I read certain things. I'm reading this because I'm trying to put the pieces of the whole together in another way, right? So I was like, okay, last night I was like, I'm gonna pick this book back up and read it. I had read it, the other day, and so I was like, okay, let me see. And I started feeling away because I didn't see the mother nowhere. And I started, this can't be right, because every time because when it's when the text is being hyper genderized as masculine, when God is being hyper genderized as masculine with no acknowledgement of the feminine aspect, my first mind is to question its validity. Or is it a book that, again, is an extension of patriarchy? And so I said, you know what, though? Let me just ask my spirit guide over here. Let me just, because she as ancient as you can be. She can help me. So I was like, help me understand. Because I feel like, I know y'all told me to read this, and there's a reason why. So help me understand. Why is Solomon not acknowledging, if he is supposed to be the great exemplar of an awakened being who has communication and access and now control over the spirits, the elementals, the angels, the demons? Like, he had all of this access in the spirit. I know for a fact he didn't get it without the feminine aspect. I know that for a fact. Now that I know for a fact, because that's a truth. You must go through the feminine aspect. You have to, at some point, acknowledge your mama, right? And so on my awakening, I learned early on, and they told me early on, that the reason why a lot of people, and the reason why you will struggle if you don't understand this, is that the feminine aspect of the Godhead is how you get access to the true masculine aspect of her. And I was like, okay, so here we are with Solomon, and he's using the term God. And anytime I've learned now, God is not one. He's not a one. He's, and I got out all that monotheism. The idea that God is just singular. Okay? Because the supreme divine masculine of the mother, if we're using the term God for all of these spirits, then, a good student, which I consider myself to be, says, okay, but who am I talking about? Who? It's not, you can't just keep throwing God at me. You know what I'm saying? You just can't keep throwing God at me like this, because who are you talking? I'm gonna need to know who you talk about. Because then you go over here and the Orishas are gods and goddesses, and you go over here and you got Greek gods, and Zeus is a god, and Oladuwa is a god, and all of the we gods on top of all of that. And I ain't got time to get into the little g, big G thing. The fact that you're using God, I must question, who are you talking about, so I'll know who we're talking about. And I feel like that is like the foundation of really getting an understanding of spiritual order. It's stop, like, get out of being indoctrinated with the idea of using the term God as a blanket term. Okay? Because you need to know who you're dealing with. There are many spirits, many chiefs of spirits. There are many. No, they're not. Okay, if you want to say, well, they're not God, though. When we start understanding that the masculine of the mother is collective consciousness, then it when you're trying to understand who in the collective consciousness, which makes up what God is, Who am I talking to? Because the collective consciousness is fragmented by emanation, is divided by emanation. So it's still not enough to just say, well, God, God did, God, who though? What aspect of him are we talking about? Because there's also trickster aspects of God. That's what you want to call them. Who will get you hung up because because they know your heart ain't right. And they will do your bidding just long enough for you to walk yourself into an abyss and then leave you there. You'll be looking like, wait a minute, I thought we was cool. No, we was never cool. It's my job to issue you your karma. Because you see what I'm saying? Your intentions was always wrong. So a spirit will work with you just long enough to bait you. This is why you gotta know who you gotta be. You gotta be clear. You also have to be clear about the intentions of your motives and your heart. These spirits ain't stupid. They are not stupid. And this is, I think, why Solomon was like, yo, bruh, son, don't use this shit for don't. I'm gonna give you this key. I'm gonna give you this good key to everything. Don't use it to do evil. Because you are not going to outwit God. Right? So I was like, okay, Spirit God, help me out. Because I'm stuck on the whole generalization of the masculinization of the thing. And she helped me out so beautifully. I don't know about y'all spirit team. I don't know about y'all's. But my spirit team, they be spirit teaming. They really do. And I sat there last night, and she started talking to me. She said, no, you're not understanding. I said, okay, thank you. Because it's like something in me felt like, okay, Yolanda, you being hyper, you being your mother's daughter. you being hyper protective. Listen, my question was, right, as I'm reading, in this particular portion, and Solomon starts to talk about, let me see if I can find a little portion, the part that was kind of like fucking me up. Okay, like right here, right? He said, firstly, it is necessary for thee to understand that God, having made all things in order, that they may be submitted unto him, hath wished to bring his works to perfection, by making one which participates of the divine and of the terrestrial, that is to say, man. Okay. Whose body is gross and terrestrial, while his soul is spiritual and celestial, unto whom he hath made, talking about God, big H he, unto whom he hath made subject the whole earth and its inhabitants, and hath given unto him means by which he may render the angels familiar, as I call those celestial creatures who are destined, some to regulate the motion of the stars, other to inhabit the elements, others to aid and to direct men. Okay. So I was reading that, and so when I hear the word man, there's a part of my finite mind that says, is he talking to man as in gender, as in male, or is he ascribing this power to man, without, like, man as a creation. Okay. And my spirit mind says, well, to understand the deeper, you would have to degenderize a lot of things. You have to degenderize a lot of things, because this book is written by, for one, by a man, a male. What we have to understand is that it is quite natural and acceptable. Okay. This is what I've understood as I've kind of, grown. It is understandable by the spirit and the spirits, and acceptable to identify with God in whatever form you find yourself in. Okay? In other words, because there is a feminine and masculine aspect of the Most High. Now, you just need to know what the feminine governs and what the masculine of the Most High governs. That is where you really need to kind of like make sure like, that's what I've learned. I can't speak for nobody else, but I've learned, it's more important not to know that, God's a woman or God's a man or whatever the case may be. And I use those terms loosely because those terms speak more to flesh, right? And they're not flesh. But I've found that the greater importance is just understanding what the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect, what they govern, because there is order in the spirit realm, even if there's no order down here with us. Okay. And there would be order if we didn't have this lesser deity wanting to raise himself up above the Most High, where there's order. So over here, there's no order dealing with that. But over here, when you heal that and you find yourself back dealing with the Most High in a pure, without all of the chaos, right? You find that there's a lot of order. They know their places. The angels know their places. Your ancestors know their places. You know what I'm saying? If you want to call them Orishas, the deities, they know their places. Everybody knows their places. The demons, daemons, they know their places. They do. Right? It's us that don't know their places. And so subsequently, we don't know ours. Okay? But I was hung up on the whole man thing. I was like, okay, let me understand, because I've already learned that the word man does not always mean male. But because I live in a dimension where there's been linguistic confusion, language has confused, there's been a perversity of language, I have to funnel what I'm receiving in the consciousness dealing with this dimension. But in order for me to get the spiritual from it, I have to take it and funnel it a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when I was like, okay, well, wait a minute, because he's not talking about male here. Let's go ahead and say that for the sake of spiritual understanding. Okay? He's not talking about male. He's talking about man as creator, as a creation. And so any word, and this is just a little tidbit, this is what I found over my studies. When you start trying to, I'm going to use a word because I don't even know if it's a real word. When you start trying to de-perverse the language and you start getting into etymology of words and things like that, what I have found is that any word starting with a M and an A is actually denoting matriarchy. Okay? When it starts with an M or an A, it's talking about something that stems from the matriarchal line. Now, when I studied the word man, when I studied the etymology of the word man, I did this a few months ago, and I'm trying to remember what I found, but it breaks down. It breaks down to the word hand. So the word man actually comes from the word manus, manus. Okay, and this is where we get manifest. This is where we get manipulation. This is where we get a lot of words. This is where we get the word man, and it means hand. So we as man are the hand of God, both masculine and feminine aspects. That's what that means. So we are her working hand. So like in Genesis, when, she said, and give them dominion, let us make man in our image and give them dominion. We have dominion in the third dimension as the hand of God, masculine and feminine aspects in this dimension. Okay. So I had to, okay, wait a minute now, because you had already learned, because I'm telling you, I love my mama. I ain't gonna hold you. I love the divine masculine too. I consider him to be a creator's son. I consider him to be her son. Okay, I consider the divine masculine of the mother to also be created by the mother for the sole purposes of helping her birth creation. And so I consider him to be a son, and so subsequently in some ways a father, right? It's kind of interchangeable, and sometimes it's just not worth splitting hairs, so I just call it the masculine of the mother. That's what I stick with that. Okay. So in other words, I was like, now you learned a while ago, don't get hung up on this from the third dimensional perspective of the word man. You know that this is probably not genderizing. Solomon is not genderizing. He's not talking about male. How do I know that? Well, so my spirit guide kept talking to me, because I was still kind of like trying to understand. And she was like, what you're not understanding, because you don't see him in this particular book, you don't see him mentioning the feminine aspect. And I was like, yeah, I don't see him mentioning the feminine aspect. And I need to know why. Right? I need to know why, because we do have listen, the fact is, when it comes to the history of this planet and the history of man, the feminine aspect has been stolen from, has been suppressed, has been completely dethroned. And a lot of these ancient texts that we are reading, including many of the books of the Bible, are actually books that were written by sibyls. So there's thievery going on, and I'm aware of that. So that's why I had to pause and ask, because I don't know this motherfucker. I don't know him. I don't know who this is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know him. So I'm not finna just say, oh, Solomon, I don't know him. You understand? And they say somebody named Solomon wrote this, but I don't know who they are who said he wrote this. So we got a problem, because it's a lot of unknowns here. And so because I'm aware of the unknowns, then as a divine feminine, I'm not just going to be running with shit, because I need to know what's the truth behind this text that y'all have you asked me to study. In order for me to go forward, I need to know what's the truth. I don't know about what them over there, all them philosophers and everything talk about. I need to know what's the truth behind this text, because y'all asked me to read this, and I'm reading it. Okay. And just in the first page, It helped me understand the masculine of the mother in a way that I didn't understand while I was awakening, because I had to pull away from the falsity of being pointed towards a lesser deity, as being God. And then he can't even function like God, like at all. He's a lesser deity. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to understand that. And so for a while, for like the last 2-3 years since I've been awakening, the masculine aspect of the Godhead was empty for me, because I didn't know what to place there. You understand? So I've been working with the mother as she told me to, and she told me, just follow me and I will get you there. I will help you understand. And now I see why that is, because that is the process of spiritual awakening. It's through the feminine to understand that which is the masculine, including your own life and your own body and the physical world as you know it. Right? So I was like, okay, now after having trusted her and done that, the masculine aspect of her, what she did tell me was, all you need to know right now is that everything that is physical is masculine, including you, your physical self. I said, okay. And I've been running with that. I didn't have no idea of like the masculine aspect of the Most High. I just know she has one, and I'm waiting for her to introduce him to me because that's definitely not it, because he's not submitted to her, and he doesn't function anything like at all like he is a part of a family, like he's a part of something, like he even has a mother. He doesn't function at all. And so that lets me know that there may have been possibly another race of humanoids who decided to erect this deity and give him, supremacy, so that they could then therefore channel all of the energy that we've been given to it, and they can be on top of society. That's how I view that. And I'll go into that later, but because that's what they showed me. But I'll go into that later, because it shows you right in the Bible who the thief is. It does show you. It's just that we don't be paying attention. It shows you right in the Bible who the race of people is. Since everybody want to know who is it, who way up there in the shadows doing all the spirit minds and all the gang stalking and everything. It's a mixture of races at this point, but the overseers of that, all of that, it's right in the scriptures. It's right there. Anyway, like I was saying, so my spirit guide was like, Yolanda. And I was like, yes. What you're not understanding, because you are hung up on the fact that in this particular book, The Lesser Keys, he is not mentioning the feminine aspect. And so you're kind of, rightfully so, but you're hung up on that. And then she said, but this is where you have to put the pieces of the fragments back together. So she was like, go to the Bible, right? Let me see. Let me get it. I said, okay. Because this Solomon that wrote this book, or wrote this text, this key, and left it to his son, and then it was discovered by a bunch of little grave robbers, basically. He also wrote Proverbs. So they said. He also wrote Ecclesiastics. So they said. And if he wrote anything else, I don't know. Okay. But she said go, because see, this is a fragment of this character. This Lesser Keys is a fragment. Proverbs is a fragment. Ecclesiastics is a fragment of this character as Solomon. She said, but when you go into the Bible, what do you see? And I was able to pull up the scriptures because I know my Bible, but I want to read it to you. Now, this is Proverbs, right? I love the way they teach me. This is Proverbs. She said in Proverbs, he mentions that he was in relationship with the feminine aspect that you need for him to mention in order to make this lesser key valid for you. But you're not getting it out of that particular book because it's a fragment. So in Proverbs, and it's many times where Solomon talks about the mother, many times. But I'm going to read in the first chapter of Proverbs, right? At the very first verse, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Second verse. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instructions of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity. All right. Now I'm going to drop down to the 7th verse. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Right? But fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, same son that he wrote this key for, he's writing in this book too. Okay, in the Bible too. Okay, my son, hear the instructions of thy father, and forsake not the law. The law. Look, hear your father. Your father is telling you to not forsake the law of thy mother. That's so good. My son, hear the instructions of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. What are the instructions of the father? The instructions of the father is to not forsake the law of thy mother. This is how I know. And if you vibing with what I'm showing you, what Spirit is showing us, that the other deity cannot possibly be the Father. He can't possibly be. And I am not going to go into the many examples as to where that deity and the people who use that deity to steal the birthright of humanity. Okay? I'm not going into that right now. But there's many examples. Starting in Genesis. Many examples. Where he clearly was not in harmony with the feminine aspect. But here you have Solomon, the same one who wrote the lesser keys and talking to all these demons and calling on to my God and all things are submitted to him and your girl was having some issues. My spirit guide said you're looking for you got to put the fragment back together. This character Solomon could have only written the lesser keys if he was in harmony with divine femininity. That is the only way. This is why they put that part of him and his story in the Bible. Okay? They split it up. Maybe they found it at different times. But now we have the task of taking this individual who supposedly wrote multiple books and piecing him back together. And what you find is that she's telling me right now that actually, if you remember, and then took me right to the very sentence. Wow. Okay. Because this is a lot of words. So that's why it be taking me a little minute to find it. I try to highlight things when I'm studying if I know I want to talk about it, but I just heard her say something. She said he actually did mention it right here. I only desire the gift of wisdom, and by the grace of God, I obtained in addition the enjoyment of all the celestial treasures and the knowledge of all natural things. It is by this means, my son, that I possess all the virtues. By the gift, he asked for the mother. He sought wisdom. Wisdom is the mother. Wisdom is the feminine aspect. Wisdom, right? Now he says here in Proverbs, go back to Proverbs, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. Okay, listen, the 20th verse. Wisdom crieth without. Now I have this completely highlighted because she had showed me this some time ago, and I was like, so my spirit guide was like, you got to remember, this is Solomon you're talking about. And I was like, okay, yeah. And she was like, remember in the Bible, he's showing you that he was the son of the mother. And he went through wisdom, which is what the mother is. And she gave him access to the grace of the masculine. So back a year or so ago, when she told you, follow me, find me, look for me, and I will lead you to the truth. This is what he is experiencing, the same thing that you have experienced. So don't get hung up in the lesser keys because he's not overly talking about the feminine aspect. And then she started breaking down to me, and I'm gonna read some more of that verse because it's powerful. And then I'm gonna jump off because I don't want the video to be too long and everything. But she was saying what you need to understand about the lesser keys is that he is talking about the masculine aspect. Now, what do you know about the masculine? You know that he is the consciousness or the mind of the womb. Of the womb of the mother. He is the consciousness that brings creation forward. Because although she births, he creates. He is the thinking, functioning mind of the womb. He participates in harmony with the womb and the wisdom of the womb to create everything that is. So in the lesser keys, Solomon is teaching you practical, because the consciousness that is the masculine is the practical application of spirituality. It is the spirit, the inner world. The inner world belongs to the mother. The womb is the mother. This is the consciousness of that womb, which works in harmony with the womb to bring forth practically, tangibly. Whether it be spirits, whether it be planets, whether it be stars, whether it be man, whether it be trees, whether it be fish, whether it be, he's giving you the practical application of spiritual access that is earned by the person, by the being who is yielded to the wisdom, which is the womb. You have to go. This is why Jesus was saying, be ye born again. Go back. And Nicodemus was like, well, how can I be born again? Can a man go back into his mother's womb? And da, 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 da. Like the question and Jesus's answer is showing you something, that you have to go through the mother. You cannot just, and I don't care who you are. I don't care who else you listen to. And I don't care how deep they seem. This is the difference in weeding out the mumbo jumbo and the trendy fatty. Let's just do it because let's just act like we got the answers. This is the true order to awakening. True awakening. This shit ain't easy. It's not a cakewalk. Because we've had so many generations and ages of lifetimes of coming back and piling on karma and piling on this. And then you got people who want to use these kind of things and conjure up spirits to work against humanity. And then we're sitting up and we've been taught to blame the spirits instead of blaming the people that are using the magic, this very same magic, in a way that Solomon taught it is not supposed to be used. And so we're blaming demons, and demons is looking like, child. Because the magic works. It works. Your intentions for how you use it is on you, though. It's on you. And you're going to receive just compensation, whether it be good, whether it be bad. Right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. She's like, he's giving you practical. He's giving you the masculine aspect. In the Bible, he's giving you a lot of heavy feminine, because in the Bible, this is the process that he went through when he asked for wisdom. It literally says that he went and did everything under the sun, which is what gave him the wisdom. He was seeking for wisdom. He was seeking for the mother. He said it right here. Don't let me put words in the man's mouth. I'm going to read it right here. And forsake not the law of thy mother. Wisdom crieth out. The mother is crying out. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in scorning, and fools hate knowledge. This the mother. This is what Solomon is saying. This is Solomon is saying, this is what the mother is saying. I'm so grateful, because my flesh and my zealousness almost robbed me of a revelation. It almost did, but I'm too sharp for that, and my spirit team be on my ass. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and they're gonna tell me like, nope, wait, back up. You're not seeing it. You're not seeing it. What else did mama say? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. her spirit. Because we also know through spiritual studying that the spirit is feminine. Okay? Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. This is the mother. Welcome to the mother's daughters. welcome. So my spirit guy was like, you gotta put it back together. He gained what he wrote down in these lesser keys about the demons, about the angels, about the celestial planets, the stars, the days that the planets govern, the times of the day. He learned all of that and was able to write it down because he was always a man submitted to the mother. He was in relationship with the mother. So was Jesus. But we'll get into that later too. This is him saying, this is what the mother is saying. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call for the mother. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me, the mother, early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord, the reverence of the divine masculine in his manifold emanations. For through him, her will and her wisdom is performed. So any other deity at all that is not in harmony and walking around through gardens cursing wombs and shit cannot be possibly her masculine. Not her masculine. To me, and per spirit, it's a spirit gone rogue. And you have a race of people who decided to raise that spirit up. Maybe because I don't know. I don't get into all the, then we could go into conspiracy theories and stuff. And I'm not your Billy Carsons and all of them. I ain't got time for all that shit. You understand what I'm saying? But what I would say, what I feel is that there is just a rogue energy, and there is a people who decided to partner with that rogue energy. I don't know for what reason. I would assume to do what they've done, which is steal the birthright. Yeah. However, whatever the race of people decided, I don't know, but the entity that they have created, that they have everybody calling God without knowledge of knowing what all of that, like, you know what I'm saying? That to each his own. But what I'm saying is that my spirit guide helped me to understand, because I would throw a book out real quick, like if I feel like it's written by somebody who is a mother hater. If I get any spiritual like at all, I won't read it. Cause why would I? Once I discern that this shit is, written by someone who is in alignment with that lesser entity, that lesser deity, I am not reading it because I don't care. I've spent enough of my life up under false doctrine. I just don't have no more digestion for no more false doctrine. So I'm always looking for the truth, right? And so I had to pause last night because I was about to throw this shit out. I had to pause, and the spirit guy was like, wait a minute, you're not understanding. And so she helped me understand. Yeah, that's what I was, kind of dealing with last night, and I'm still reading. I didn't really want to go into too much detail about what this book has in it. Not because I just didn't want to do that right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta get an understanding. You know what I'm saying? And I be want to understand the first off, what's the nature of this particular text? What's the nature of the person that they're saying wrote it? What's the intention? Before I even start really digesting anything that's actually, as far as because this is a book on practical magic, and that's what my ancestor, my spirit guy was telling me. You have to remember this is his writing that is teaching you practical magic, which is the governance of the mother's masculine. So this goes back again to what I was saying about knowing what the mother and what her son governs. Okay. And so therefore my spirit guide was like, yeah, you just kind of gotta calm down. Just gotta calm down. So I calmed down. I was like, by the time you know what? And then I had put the book down because I was like, I was hearing from her and I knew I needed to hear from her. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just put it down. And after she got done talking to me, I went on ahead and went to bed for the night because I was like, thank you. Okay. So I understand. So now I can finish reading it. And I can go back and read the other parts that I skipped over about the sigils and things like that. But I have a question about the sigils because I want to know. I don't want to waste my good printing paper. And I know I've seen other spiritualists, occultists who just print the sigils off. It works. That's just the way I am. I'm a stickler for like going back to spirit. And saying now, because he got it forged in iron and copper and gold and stuff, is that really, because the elementals like the iron, these minerals and whatever you want to call them, ores, copper, metal, what's the other one? Iron, copper, it's another one, it's a couple of them. Silver, some of them are used for silver, some of them you forge them in gold. Just depends on the energy, the celestial energy that you're calling on, the angelic energy that governs the celestial body that you're calling on, and all of that. You understand what I'm saying? And so it has a system to it. This practical magic, there's a system. And so some say you could just print it off and use the sigils and put on a piece of paper and everything's fine. Okay, well, duly noted. Let me go ask. Right? Because is it that important that things be forged in gold, iron, metals, and things like that? Right? Because I'm not a blacksmith. So if I was to ever decide to use the sigils, like how would I go about doing it in a more modern world? Not saying that there's not blacksmiths around, there are, but this is the kind of stuff like back in the day, like during what would have been Solomon's time, he probably did that himself. Like he probably was a blacksmith. You understand what I'm saying? So after she kind of helped me understand that he is giving you the practical, which is the governance of the divine masculine. That is the governance, the practical side of how to work with the manifested universe and the manifested other creator beings and created beings, much like yourself, is a creator and a created, right? So he governs all that is created in the practical frequency, in the tangible frequency, right? And that's how you end up with a collective consciousness, which makes him him, because he is inside the same womb that we're all inside of. You understand what I'm saying? So once she helped me understand, no, this is the masculine of the mother. So this is not what you were given over this lifetime and many other lifetimes. This is not that deity. This is the masculine of the mother, who is in harmony with the mother and always will be and always has been. Always. So again, it's just imperative to know who we're talking about, because there are energies, other created entities and beings who went rogue, for maybe that was their divine purpose. I don't know. It's above my pay grade. All I need to know is who I'm talking to and who I'm dealing with, so I know how I need to move, because I am in harmony with the mother and her masculine and all those beings in all their various places who also walk in harmony, respectfully, with the mother and her son. If you on the outside of that right there, I don't fuck with you. Whether you human, whether you spirit, whether you whatever you are, if you're not in harmony with the mother and the masculine and the gods and the goddesses and the celestial beings and the terrestrial beings that are in harmony with her, I don't know you. And that's just the way that cookie crumbles. So that's why I always want to know who, even when I'm in my personal time and an energy may come towards me, I always ask, who are you? Who are you? Before we get into what you're trying to tell me or what you're trying to ask me, who are you? Always ask. You understand? And so if I don't get an answer, then I go to the ancestors, or I go to my spirit team, because something foreign who doesn't want to acknowledge who it is problematic. And all of my spirit team, they'll tell me straight up, no, this daughter, sis, it's me, it's Oya. I'll be like, oh, hey girl. So anytime something comes towards me and it doesn't want to acknowledge itself, automatic, get the hell out of here. Automatic, no. I don't, and until you acknowledge, until you tell me who you are, you're not even fit to have a conversation with me, because that's my standard. That's what I require. And everybody that works with me, all of my spirit teams, they all know that. They all know that. Right? So it's just what I require, because I ain't trying to find myself up under no more foolishness, believing that something is something and something and something and something and just being all out of whack. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at right now with this Lesser Keys. It's very intriguing, and now that I have greater understanding, gratitude to the spirit team for helping me get that, because I was about to throw this motherfucker away. I was like, that's I don't know what is all of this. He ain't said nothing about the mother or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so my homegirl, my spirit guide, she helped me understand, like, wait a minute, let me slow you down, because see, you do not play the radio about your mama. I sure don't. I sure don't. So I don't know. I'm a jump off of here now. I really appreciate everybody who was taking time to hear me. You know, hopefully something was said that might even help you. You know, I will always, anytime I come on to share with you. I come on to, you know what I mean, just chop it up with you, and chips fall where they may. So I hope you was able to maybe learn something. Do not If you don't have this book, get it. I am going to try to find the PDF file of this book so you can kind of have it. If you're not ready for this right now, you will know. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, always be led by your spirit guides, your spirit team, and your spirit, right? Trust the spirit. And it will tell you if you ask, do I need to know this now? No, not right now. Yes, you do, right? So don't just jump into this because this is what I'm going through right now, what I am reading right now. But if you feel led to browse through it, I have browsed through it a couple of times, but this is my first time actually sitting down and really kind of taking in what's being said and everything. But I will say that it's but again, that's subjective to where you are in your awakening. I was going to say that it's not really nothing to be afraid of or have any anxiety about because he's listing off demons and stuff like that. But again, like I just said, that's subjective to where you are. You know what I'm saying? In your relationship with these frequencies, you know, and your understanding. But yeah, and I'm a come back and jump back into that Proverbs because that was good. That was really, really good. And when she gave it to me last night, I was like, duh. But I be in my feelings sometimes because I be like, where's my mama? I don't see nobody. Man. Man. He. But all is well. I am excited to better understand the divine masculine. I'm excited to better understand how that frequency of her and what that means for my own power, what that means for my own spiritual work. And I'm really glad to have an understanding. I'm really glad to have an understanding of the responsibilities of both halves of the Godhead, the feminine and the masculine. And I'm very grateful to the mother for showing me, for, you know. So again, the mother is the way, the truth, and the life. All right. I mean, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So thank you for taking time to listen. Check in on the other videos that we have, Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. Also take time to listen to the Prayers of Awakened Goddess. What else we got going on? The push messages. If you are, you know, in a phase of your life where you are motivated or need that motivation to continue to manifest, to continue to move towards your destiny and your purposes, very quick, powerful, impactful messages that I release every 2 or 3 days. All right, so check those out. Please like and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, like this video and like and leave a like under every video that you choose to watch. It means a lot to the tribe we're building. It means a lot to the channel. And I'm just looking forward to some great things. I'm getting ready to move into another phase where I'm starting to work on some more things. Because like I think I said in another video, I don't know which one, might have been a Sacred Empowerments, I don't know, that my YouTube channel and the community that we're building here is really just one small fragment of a much bigger vision. And so this was a part of phase 1, was getting the community up, running, figuring out what I want to share with the, you know, with the collective and everything. And then we're going to move into phase 2, and I'm getting ready to move into phase 2. So please look forward to some more things coming towards you. Tell somebody about the channel that you think would benefit from the channel. And I will see you guys on the next one, all right? I love you. I love everybody. I send you light and love and wellness and wholeness, okay, to your families and to yourself. I'll see you guys later, all right? Peace, family.